Hi, good day, wherever you're watching us, and thank you for joining us on another beautiful edition of Real Talk. Real Talk is that show we bring to you monthly where we pick on one Nigerian movie or any international movie and have a conversation around it. And what we do is we come together as a panel, and I would describe the panel as an educated, well informed body of panelists who come together to evaluate and pass different professional judgments around different movies. Our intentions are basically to, of course, encourage, motivate, and inspire more professional growth into the industry as a whole. Well, my name is Akim Ogumilade, and I am the host on this edition. And of course, it's not all about me, it's all about the panelists who come together, spend time, watch movies, and come up with a review templates which guides us and advise whatever producer or director are involved in films we pick up. But most importantly is we are Nigerians first, both we are Canadian. Hence, you could describe the body of panelists as the Nigerian Canadians who has that very great interest in the prosperity of movies coming your way, especially when it comes from our own people. It's on this note I welcome you to this wonderful edition of The Real Talk. I'll begin to welcome in our panelists. Some of them you've met before and some you've not met. First and foremost, I want to welcome this evening our delectable film producer. She is that producer of that very popular, much talked about Facade series. And she's also the executive director of the Afro Caribbean's Youths in Hat. I guess she's going to do that introduction herself when we get to that point. Also, we have one of our very, very die-hard film enthusiast and somebody who really, really has the passion and energy for the growth of the industry. I'm no other person than Noreen. Thank you so much, Noreen, for joining us. And the third panelist we have today is no other person than Dr. Adewale Akonde. On this note, I would let us take turns to introduce ourselves individually as we continue with this episode of The Real Show. Let's start with Queen.
Hello, everyone. Hello, panelists. My name is Irene Chukwuma, and popularly known as Queen V. I'm the director of African and Caribbean in Art. It's a youth program where we help youths come into art in different forms of art. I'm happy to be here today to analyze. Oh, you don't want me to talk about the movie yet?
No, no, no. We're going to get to that point.
Okay, I'll just keep quiet. Okay,
We
I
just
can't
want to
wait.
introduce
Yeah,
ourselves.
jump
Thank
in.
you so much, Queen. So, Noreen, let's have you next.
Hello, thanks for having me. My name is Noreen Osetutu. I go by Noreen O. I'm a content creator. I'm a singer and songwriter, children's book author, and I'm also an actress. And I have a dance ministry as well. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Noreen. And
Thanks.
over to you, Dr. Adewale Akonde.
Hello, good evening. Thanks for having me. My name is Adewale Akande. I'm having my PhD in education. I'm a professional teacher. At the same time, I'm a road safety consultant. We'd like to start talking about this film that is very interesting because I can't wait to because I just watch it and I see that.
All right, awesome.
Now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akonde there. Now let's go to the chase to our esteemed viewers, wherever you're watching. This is what we do, and the panel is set. And today we have a movie that we are bringing forth for screening, for preview, and of course for analysis. And this film is no other film than the one you might have seen or you've not seen before. But if you've not seen the movie, I want to tell you something. You really need to go see it. The title is Messi, and Messi is that very a Nollywood film on YouTube. It has over 2 point something million views, and it's a film that I would describe as you need to watch it. And I was glad when our panelists decided to choose this film as our preview for the first edition in the year 2025. Lest we forget, let's wish people Happy New Year. This is the first time we have seen our audience. So, on behalf of all of us here, we're wishing our esteemed viewers Happy New Year. And yeah, and before we cut, thank you. Before we cut to the chase, there is something I want to say. That's where I want to start from this edition of the show. I have realized that these days, when you go on YouTube, you find very beautiful themes, well constructed themes. And at times, I begin to even say some of these movies, in terms of theme, storyline, cinematography, everything, they're better off other themes on even Netflix. I don't know. Let's have your views about that. Let's start with Queen. Do you agree with this, or you just think I'm overhyping some productions that are just on YouTube and not on Netflix? Let's start with your views, Queen.
So my view on what you just said is that I think Netflix, some of the movies on Netflix are overrated. You're very right when you say that there's a lot of beautiful movies on YouTube. You're very, very right. I think the movies on Netflix, like I said the last time, using a producer and a director like Tyler Perry for that series he put on, I saw so many lapses that, like, for that caliber of director and on Netflix, that shouldn't have been there.
Okay, so let's take Noreen's view about my assertion. Do you agree with me, or you think I'm being overreactive?
No, I agree
No.
with you 100%. I think that Africa as a whole, we're setting the bars high. And I think we're underrated in a sense because it's Africa. But I feel also as if Africa is also in the right. We're now starting to acknowledge Africa for our gifts and our talent. And for me, Netflix is great, but that's not the highest standard, in my opinion. I think we can achieve way far beyond that. Yeah, so I think Netflix, I think that the movies that have been produced have reached that standard way before, like long before. Yeah,
All right, Dr. Akonde, do you agree that there's some movies on YouTube that are better than films actually on Netflix?
Exactly. You are 100% correct as well. I even agree with Queen, what she just said. There are some some movies you see on Netflix, and then you just ask yourself, why this one is what is this one doing here? Why we have talented Africans, especially our Nigerian movies, most of them are very, very good. Most of them we have recently, but they equal or even more than those what we are seeing on Netflix. Honestly, I don't know why it's still taking time, why our movies are not in that Netflix for some time. We are so moving now. You can see what is happening in Nollywood now is more than any of the movies I've ever seen before. So I don't know, we have to encourage them, or I don't know what we have to do to make us to be in that place, in that forum.
All right.
I would like to add to what Doctor just said. Doctor, I also think there's a lot of politics, especially with the Nigerian movie. There's a lot of politics going on too. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think, because I've also watched some American movies done in one sitting room, Netflix.
Oh my
Well, that's going to be a conversation probably for another day, whereby we can all discuss the whole process and the recent happenings. It was. I would just run through the scenario that there were actually some professional steps that were never feasible for people to have their projects on Netflix without having to be in a carcass. And the carcass team kept going, and it got to a point in recent time where Netflix itself decided they are no longer going to put money down for any producer to produce Netflix official films. Then, in terms of storytelling, just like we are gathered here today, we can't underestimate the power, the intellectual manifestation of the Nollywood industry. We keep soaring higher and higher. And for those of you just joining us, it's The Real Show. And today we're talking about a movie, and it's titled, of course, Messi. And Messi is a movie, if you've not seen, after this review, please, we strongly urge you to go and watch it. So let's start with Queen as well. That's going to be the turn I will be thinking. Queen, you have watched this movie now. Let's start with, what is your holistic impression about the movie?
Okay, so my holistic impression about it is that they have very good themes. They have themes like childhood abuse, cheating in marriage, challenges in a Christian home, especially when it's a pastor, and then sexual violence. However, with all these themes building to the end, I had a problem because I was there watching and I was like, what's happening? Even when Mina said, when she was trying to reconcile with her husband and she was like, don't be too hard. I was like, what's happening? Why? What is he a violent? Does he have sex violently? Okay, I put that aside. And then at the beginning, where she was like, complaining that he hasn't changed and everything. And I'm saying, what's happening? I need to know the end. I was really good. They put that suspense in an audience like me. I wanted to know what happened at the end. I was willing to know what trauma did this guy go through that put him through all this. And at the end, it was Auntie Felicia. And Auntie Felicia, I was like, he couldn't develop enough pathos in me. I've been through different kind of abuse, and I'm supposed to be more sensitive to him, and I wasn't able to feel it. I felt no pathos. I was like, what's happening here? So for me, the writer did a good job from the beginning to almost the end. The end wasn't it for me. It wasn't enough reason, in my opinion. It wasn't enough reason for him to be sexually violent, for him to be a cheating pastor, for him his childhood abuse. It wasn't enough reason for me. So that's my take. Let me let other people talk.
All right. That's I think what I'm holding from what you just said now is what any successful script writer would have been able to do. So, in terms of script writing, you see that they were able to narrow the story down to a point of hooking you all through the drama, which is a very good, for me, it's a very good positive one. For those of you watching, wherever you're watching from, if you have your comments, still feel free to put them up. We are able to display your comments in the course of the program. Having said that, Queen, on the other side is, let's look at the plethora, the style in which the director decided, the direction they went through, posing a very major circumstance in the life of the man of God, Taribo, Pastor Taribo. And all through, we didn't virtually see this problem. There was no place it was actually put to play. And the suspense went on and on. We're going to come to all these as we continue to break down. But let's take from Noreen. Noreen, what do you think holistically about the movie? Let's have your views about it.
Holistically, I think they touched on a lot of many issues that we within the Black community don't want to discuss. They touched on many issues without over dramatizing it. They touched on substance abuse, they touched on sexual abuse, they touched on control, they touched on the things that happen in the churches, they touched on like just so many things without making it so like extra. They made it, in my opinion, they made it very realistic and believable. To just sum it up, if that's what you want me to do, or if you want me to go into a little bit, touch on some of the topics or issues that were in the movie, or we'll come.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna come back.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
I picked something from what you just said here. Ability for the producer, the director, and the tech team to subtly touch on a lot of things while passing the message, without overflogging them. For me, again, I think this is a plus, right? Um, it's a plug, it's a plus and a hook. I feel that's another very good one. So let's begin to let's take Dr. Akonde's perspective in terms of your holistic impression about this movie.
Thank you. Actually, this movie supposed to have been produced in the last 10 years or even more. Because if we see what happened in Africa, even especially in Nigeria over the past 10, 15 years, where we see pastors in relatives and people in the churches, the way they relate, one of those pastor issues in the past. It was in the news in Nigeria for the last 10 years. You keep on everywhere. You see this pastor who cheating the wife. You see this one with the church members. A lot of things happened in Nigeria at that time. I wish this film could have been produced that time to just let people to see, because all the plot structure, characterizations, the storyline, the cinematography, the sound design, everything was perfect. Honestly, the producers and the director, they did a good work, and this shows the level what is happening in society. I like the satire to let us see what is happening. How about this issue of the cheatings in marriages, and also the sexual violence and the child abuse as well. So this one just let us see how we can manage it. And at the end, I love the way it ended as well. How it was being, how they manage it, because some issue like this might even let the marriage be broken totally. But I actually like the way everything went through.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Akonde. Yeah, just like as panelist here, for you said you like the way, from the climax, the way it went up and came down in terms of the story. For me, probably I might have a different opinion to that. We're going to get to that as well. For those of you just joining us, we are 19 minutes into the Real Talk on this wonderful edition. I've got my panelists, and we're beginning to dissect and go in details into the themes of this story. We've had a lot of them already. Now we want to begin to break it down further. I'll start again with Queen. Queen, from your own perspective, how would you describe our own key major factors which we use in assessing story, like if it's really really good? I think I've perceived so far that we're having a lot of affirmations that this film is on point. But for you, using our own index, which has to do with plots, theme, cinematography, mood, and all our own underlining factors, how would you describe the film?
So, like I said, from the suspense helped we as audience to kind of visualize what's the theme, what's happening here, and then we were able to develop those themes in our head. For example, when she said "Don't be too hard," then I got a theme of, oh, I think he's sexually violent. When she said "Don't be too hard on her," and that, oh, you did it again. And then when he says was like the problem, what was the problem? I kept on asking myself, what with the themes I was getting, okay, what's this huge problem that, okay, we have a challenge here, the theme of challenge in a Christian marriage, the theme of like a pastor, he's there preaching one what is happening in his home. He's trying to teach people the themes that built up to the end, to the resolution, the climax, and everything. When he got to the resolution, I couldn't feel it. I didn't feel those themes. I developed from what was happening. Like you said, the director didn't show us all those things. They didn't want to show us, which was good. It helped us to continue wondering what's happening, what happened in the room, what's happening, why is she, what? So we developed those themes in our head ourselves. Most of those themes we developed, except the cheating part of it. The cheating part of it was what we all saw, but the things that happened behind the scene we didn't see, and we put it in our head. So I still maintain my stance of I didn't get a good resolution. It was a beautiful movie. The last 5 minutes, I didn't get a good resolution on the movie.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for that brilliant contribution. Let's move to Noreen. Noreen, now this is time to now make your analysis about this film. Like, let's have your own very detailed analysis. Having watched the film, did you think it was worth your time to watch that film?
Oh, I do. I do think, like I said it before, I feel that it touched on a lot of issues that we within the Black community don't like to discuss. And it was nice to see it from a male's perspective, right? Because usually every time we talk about sexual abuse, it's always from the female's perspective. So it was nice to see it from the male's perspective, and it just goes to show, when you sum it up, it's hurt people, right? And so that's what he was doing, in my opinion. And so he was broken. I just found that he was a broken man that wanted his control back. His innocence was taken from him. And so now he was in a position where he wanted to be in control in all his relationships. And so his way of doing it was being sexually aggressive. And then also going back to the mistress, the ones that are always painted black, like the mistress is always like the bad one, like the ruining marriages and whatever. But we tend to neglect the fact that he left her broken and then decided to move on with his life and left her broken, right? And so he was able to do that because he hasn't healed himself, and so he didn't empathize or sympathize with them. In a way, you can say he was selfish because he didn't feel anybody's pain because he was still in pain. And so I just found that it really, really talked on, the things that the cycle that continues, because we're taught to swallow things. We're not taught to like talk about problems. When you get sexually abused, talk about it, go seek counseling. It's like certain things are considered a taboo, in a sense, right? And so for them to show that it's okay to talk about it, it doesn't make you less of a man if you're abused as a child. It doesn't make you any less of a man. You just need help at the end of the day. And so the issues of the abuse, and I'm bringing it back to like reality as well. These are the things that we pass down to our kids, right? We tell them to, okay, this happened, just swallow it, pretend it didn't happen. And then what happens? We become overprotective of our children. And then we become overprotective of our children feel as if we're overbearing. And then it brings some sort of rigid division within the relationship within our children. But because we haven't dealt with it, like how they showed that our pastor, doing the counseling, the cycle continues. So what they're trying to show, what I took from the movie, is that you need to break that cycle by getting help, right? So I don't want to take too much time, so maybe we can move on and then come back, and then I can elaborate more. I have some points.
That's great. That's great. Now, before we take Dr. Akonde's perspective, for me, I don't know. Somebody could help me with those languages. I know there's something called BDS. Is it BD? there is a sex pattern that goes with violence, right? Which is supposed to be a symbolic thing. Now, that's one. The other perspective to it was like we were thrown into the dark, so we're left to begin to make assumptions and guesses here. Now let's look at, okay, was the guy actually, were they talking about anal sex here that was not that was not compatible with a wife? We don't really know. Also, there is what we call the dyspareunia. It also has to do with kind of painful sex thing, and that's a different thing. And also there's what we call the vaginismus. These are different perspectives that one could begin to just guess, because the direction and the crew didn't guide us properly to exactly know what was happening in the other room. We only know at some point she showed, the fact that she was bruised, which we thought, that could just be a general domestic violence thing. And, she kept mentioning in the past. So we didn't realize that until the night of the pastor's birthday, when he was allowed into the other room again, and the whole brouhaha continued again. Well, let's have the back on this.
Sorry, just to add to what you just said, I also thought he was bisexual. So at the time too, I was thinking to myself, is he that? So they kept yeah, I was thinking that.
I think they kept playing with our emotions, and that was what got us glued to know exactly what happened.
Which I think was good. Which I think was good.
Anyway, after Doctor talks, then I feel like.
Please,
Dr. Konde, you can go ahead now.
Okay. Though I wanted to say something for, but I want to continue where you just ended now, because that aspect too, is something that is affecting marriages. Some maybe I think they must have caught it before being married, or we didn't know much about it, because that aspect too. Some people, by the time they get married, they discover that their sex life are not equal. It happens. Many people, they discover that some as well as some men I've heard from friends as well. After marriage, after spending a lot of money, by the time they have been together with their wife, they discover something is missing. See, something that they've not been getting from their when they are single. You could see some of our politicians as well. I read a lot about Abuja politicians. By the time they get another side chick, you can't believe they forget that they have a wife somewhere. Because they see new things, something they've never enjoyed in their life. They see different kind of sex. They appeal to them, what's happening? For the past of 25 years of marriage, this one is different. That's why you see some of them buying a lot of luxury cars for all those small guys in Abuja. I'm telling you the truth. That even explain all these things to me in Abuja. But as that the issue of this film, what you see in this film is about this Pastor Taribo is you can't walk with God holding hands with the devil. That's exactly the one they want us to see. You can't walk with God. That means walking with God, holding hands with the devil. That's a kind of a proverb I use for it. Though for me, Pastor Taribo wins my heart a bit as a guy. Some typical African men, they like to be bully the wife. That but he was calm. He was keep on. You could see that it's not even not a kind of a man that you have to raise hand or do something that you say, no, leave me alone. Don't talk to me like that. But he keep on admitting his fault and even promising that he will try to change. He's begging God, he's praying. Though he said it's hard for him, but the only thing I could say about him that I don't like is that he kept a lot of secrets from the wife. Because what is marriage is where two becomes one. What I know about marriage is two have to become one. So you don't need to keep secrets, that kind of secret, because if you keep it, later it will come out. There's no secret you keep that will not come out. And when by the time it comes out, it might even destroy everything. It almost destroy their marriage, if not because of Pastor Menard being well good home training. Honestly, it could have destroyed it. Some women can't take that one, especially with their personal assistants. They can't come back again. The trauma will be so much for them that they cannot face anybody again. It cannot be in that area again, or even about church or something like that again. It's a kind of movie that reflects society and how to resolve it amicably. Though the one you said, they didn't, the director, the producer didn't let us know about their sexual something. You couldn't get that one.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Akonde there. Still discussing the movie, Mercy. And we have had turns expressing our different opinions around the movie. For me, I'm going to go to the next question now. And this part of the questions are going to be more assertive. For the wife of Pastor Taribo having to go to that extra length of reporting this private inner room travel, escapade, do you think she went too far, or you think it's something normal in the community? Let's have your take on this quickly. Then I have some other questions as well about normalcy, standard norms and possibilities on the average context. Let's start with Queen.
Okay, so I think speaking about a problem is a very good thing. I think confiding in somebody you trust or elders you trust is a very good thing. From what we were made to understand, she couldn't handle it anymore. It was more than her. So reporting it was not bad, in my opinion, because, instead of her keeping quiet and dying in silence, it was a good thing to report. But we don't know what she reported. I don't really still know what she reported. The only thing I really saw was still the cheating. I don't know the other things that happened. I still don't know what was happening.
For me, I think she actually reported the situation that was going on.
The violence.
The violent sex. Yeah, that was what she actually reported in the course of the film. So
may I ask, what was the violence? Because I missed that part. Was he what kind of violence?
Yeah, that's what we were saying, that we can actually place it and say.
I think it was the beginning of the film. I think that one was the beginning of the film where she was showing her back. It kind of, I don't know, maybe the guy. I don't know what happened.
I started imagining. They made me start imagining what was happening. Was he drawing her hair? Was he pulling her up and down? What was he doing to her? Was he beating her? Like I don't know.
She showed her back. If you recall, in the beginning of the film, she showed her back. I
remember when she said, "Don't be hard this time." So I started wondering what was happening.
They wanted us to use our own imagination, go in the room and create your own scene.
But Queen, you are thinking too much.
Okay, well, remember, it's okay.
Wait, this is what we were saying, and I thought we were all on the same page, that the director, they decided not to let us know exactly what the problem was, and that was why we were guessing different things. That could it be anal sex, violent sex, or could it be vaginismus, or it could be dyspareunia, and a lot of complications during sex like that between two people. But whatever the case is, for me, I would want to ask Noreen, do you think it was okay for the wife to have reported the husband to the old church, almost relieving him of the duty as head pastor? Don't you think she went too far?
For me, I personally, I'm putting myself in his shoes. This is not like a little secret that, he stole, $20 from his mom's bag or something. This is something that's been carried for so many years. For me, I think she was frustrated. She kept telling him, you have to talk to somebody. You need to talk to somebody, because pretty much we're living in a lie. But I think she should have found one man of God that he trusted and maybe just pleaded with that pastor or that man of God, whoever that he trusted, to talk to him and have like a session with him one on one, and then bring them together as a couple and discuss it that way. But that whole getting the whole church involved and all that, I personally, I think that was too extreme, because judgment is of the Lord's. I'm not a big fan of that whole church, like certain situations. I do agree that it needs to be dealt with as a whole, but something like this, I think it could have been dealt with the pastor, um for finding a man of God that he trusts and respects, and then having him sit with him and then talk to him that way, and then see how he could have supported him in finding help for himself. That's my
rather
opinion.
than taking it, because
Yeah,
at times, when things are said, it's very difficult to go back and explain everything, and that for
right.
me is part of the reasons why the anticlimax of the story, according to Queen, wasn't very balanced, because she threw it really really all scattered all over the place, provoked, beyond the man, the whole church. I'm sure there would have been a lot of gossip around here and there, and suddenly, the sudden turnaround, I guess, in terms of the writing of the story, we all know that things don't just turn around like that. No matter what, that guy would have been broken, totally broken, and for him to come back, even he could, they didn't show us that position whereby he finding it even, trying to forgive the wife for that exposure.
Mm,
Because for me it was something that would have been just like Noreen said. They had a pastor, a senior pastor, they revered. So, but having said that, let's quickly take a comment from one of our panelists who didn't join on this edition, but she's still with us. She says, if Pastor Taribo had sat his wife down from the onset and made her understand what she went through, probably they wouldn't have had this kind of problem. She further added again that there are some women who like violent sex. Well, and thank God we have two women here today. Probably they don't let us know that. And finally, she said, I feel she did the right thing by getting help, but could have been done more discreetly. Exactly my own opinion. So let's take another perspective of this story from the holistic side again. Dr. Akonde, now when you look at the different characters in this story, there was the friend of Alex, who her role was a bit salient, but she was that person always telling her, this is wrong. She was preempting us that if that man had known what he was into, he should already be praying. He should go to the highest mountains to pray, because she knew the kind of person Alex was, that Alex was going to bring a downfall to this man. And also, even when she saw the nude videos of their workouts in the other room, she still said, what do you want to do with these videos? These are all they were preempting us of what would have happened. So what's your view of other silent key actors in that theme? How do you assert their positioning towards the main goal of the story?
Okay, sir. Okay, I let me just digest a bit as regard what my two said about the issue of the calling the church board to inform them as regard the problem. I think Pastor Mena should have done another thing instead of calling the old church or the church board. Maybe she could have firstly seek the advice of the a kind of a marriage counselor. Firstly, to talk about this issue, and I believe the counselor will use a professional way to handle the situation if it can be resolved there. But if that one couldn't work, the next option for her, for Mena, is to that family that came to see them is even better to talk to the family as another option. And if those options couldn't work, she might did what he did finally. But I don't think that one should be the first thing she should be do, because these news went viral, going to the church, everything. and this thing could have been solved if he explained. See the way he explained at the end of it when they got a kind of professional. She could have done that one initially in the beginning. Let me just go and see a counselor who is a professional, and then two of them, that person is neutral, because the idea of man and woman, and even in the Bible, is God bringing Adam and Eve together too. They wanted to unite. They don't even put a neighbor. They don't put anybody to disrupt the youth. And as guy, the characterization, honestly, from Alex's friend, because we saw that kind of character in the last movie we reviewed. Remember, sleeping on the bed and giving advice to our friend. If you remember, the same character we had in the last the one we reviewed. Our friend, in fact, she knows a lot about her. She knows a lot about Annette. In fact, she knows that what Annette can do and what can I do. I think there's a way she can reveal what the ambition of the ambition of Annette to the pastor. Maybe this thing could have been solved, because this our friend knows everything about her entirely. And also the issue of the family that came to greet them. I don't know why Mena doesn't call that woman. No, the woman noticed that she was not okay. I don't know why the Amena couldn't call the woman to just say, I'm having a problem, and it's only you. Maybe and talk to her. Maybe they could have resolved it that time. And also I want to talk about this Taribo as well. Taribo, I don't know. I don't think he needs to hide those old story. You have to tell your wife things of the past. That's what we call marriage. You tell yourself everything, so that you know everything that happened to you, so you know how to. You could see the way Mena was so shocked when she had the news, when she had the story. Being somebody you have kid with, you need to tell everything together, so that to solve the problem.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Konde. There. We're 43 minutes into the show, and we have 17 more minutes on the show. Let's begin to now take some key points one after the other. I would want to start with Queen again. Queen, in terms of acting, we've seen these two famous faces in a lot of other films. How would you describe their performance in this movie, Messi?
I would say they're 9/10. The acting was very good. It was very good, but at the end, when Pastor Taribo was expressing his pain, Pastor Taribo and the director, because it wasn't only him, the director is supposed to see that he wasn't able to draw enough pathos. He wasn't able to get sympathy from the audience. What they did at the end couldn't have gotten sympathy from the audience. I stand to be corrected. I want one audience, even all of us on this panel, who was near tears at the end of that movie when they were at the therapist's place. The acting was good. Bessie, the acting was very good. It's just the end is still my problem. Every other thing was good. His preaching, everything was good. Thank you for showing that. Everything was good. It was just the end that was my problem. So I blame that on the director, because that's the job.
Okay, thank you so much. So that's a 9/10. Now we're going to Noreen. Noreen, in terms of cinematography, holistically, from lighting to camera angles to everything about the cinematography, how would you rate this project?
I would give it a solid 9/10. Solid 9/10. Yeah, I feel like the lighting was good. The angles where it needed to focus on. It's like they touched on the important spots. Like when he was preaching, then you was the angle was at the wife. You still see the congregation, but then your focus was still on the wife and her very subtle but evident facial expressions, and I think I 9/10. To answer your question, 9/10.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Dr. Akonde, now I have a question for you. You did make a proverb as an African man that you can't walk with God and hold hands with the devil. But in this scenario here, the devil herself, in person, the character of Alex was there. She said she's going away. I'm gonna be there. She found her way to the church. Tried reigniting those terrific memories of bedroom activities. She proceeded again to becoming a PA, where she lobbied her way in to become a personal assistant to have access to the man's life. How would you fight the devil who has chosen to be there for you even on your walk with God? Let's have
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
opinion,
Like,
Dr. Akonde.
like I said, yeah, it's true. Like I said, you can't work with God holding hand with the devil. The signs came up when this lady, when he saw this lady in the church, that at that time, that exact night, he, Taribo, could have just called the wife, please, there's something I want to disclose, and tell her everything. I'm serious. He's supposed to inform the wife immediately that day that this girl, she must have known the girl very well. Somebody will move with you should know her tantrum, you should know her skills, you should know the way she can do to get him. Immediately, yes, now, immediately he saw the girl in the church, he should know that this is a devil. She just want to mingle with us. And he's about to know that even if he doesn't destroy the marriage, he will get to some of the pastors. Some of the pastors, yeah, he will get them. She know how to. You could see her. She know how to get them. You get her. You know. You see the way she got her able to be in a house, and he woke up just wow, and she did all the camera. She did the filming, photograph, everything. You could see that immediately she saw that girl that day, not to be telling the wife, this guy is from the church. Not only that reason, she's also to have just exposed everything, explain everything. Well, see, madam, I'm your husband, you are my wife. Let me tell you this story. Sorry, I've not informed you before. This is the story. So the woman will not even thinking of saying she will be my PA, personal assistant. PA for what? Someone that have done that for my husband, to make her the PA. And I was just telling her that on Tuesday I'm not in the church. For Wednesday I used to travel. On Friday I used to, she will know how to handle everything.
It's like telling all your secrets.
She could have. It was a part of Taribo. That's what Taribo. He made that mistake. Immediately he saw her. You can even tell the recruiting officer, come, that girl, please don't even take her at all to be part of the people that they're going to recruit. I'm serious. Or he tell the wife knows how to do it. She will leave the church. I know the wife. The wife will just say, another one is coming again. Hey, this devil is coming again. She will know how to deal with the lady. That's why I say you can't work with God and only have with the devil. That's why the devil know how to maneuver.
All right.
Can I say
Thank you so
something
much.
quickly?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Nori.
Yeah, I know we have time. But I just wish that they allowed Alex an opportunity to repent. Like I wish they give her an opportunity. No, listen to what I'm saying, because this is why I always say I don't condone such behaviors, right? But in this scenario, he left her broken. Remember the story she told of what he put her through, and he just left her and abandoned her. Okay, and now she's coming, like, so she's in a bitter place, right? So I wish they gave her an opportunity to repent and to maybe even have a conversation with the wife, or even write the wife a note of why she did what she did. Not to say or to condone her behavior or the choices that she made, but just for me, I think it's always important to put yourself in everybody's shoes. It's always easy to look out, looking in and then start like pointing fingers and then passing judgment. But until you pass through what the person has passed through, it's hard to judge, right? So I wish they just gave her an opportunity after she came to her senses when the video was leaked, which she didn't want to happen. She was just using that as leverage to kind of control him. That's what she was doing. But I wish they gave her an opportunity to also repent and then have a conversation or some type of dialogue with the wife to let the wife know, this is what your husband did to me. This is why I came back. I came back with vengeance to ruin his life the same way he ruined my life. So that's just what I wish.
Please, can I say something?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
When everybody was talking, I was like, I don't think I wish they allowed Alex play the devil role to the end. Because at the end, she was like, oh, I didn't do it. It was her friend who leaked it out. So, and then she went and started begging Pastor Mina. So I felt that she had some repentance in her. I wish she played the devil to the end and she didn't beg, and she was the one who put out that video and everything, not putting the blame on someone else. That's my own. I would have enjoyed that perspective more, making her character be the devil she is to the end.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We are 52 minutes into this beautiful edition of Real Talk Show. And here we are, unraveling, discussing, sorting, sieving, sharing our various opinions and perspectives about this great work of art, Messi. I would say to the producer, congratulations for our radar to come on YouTube, and over 1 million different jobs there. We selected this year beautiful work of art, and here we are celebrating it from North America here. I would want to begin to have a recap before we have our final last 1 minute each. So far so good. We've talked about the story and the screenplay, where we gave credit to the writer for being able to hide very vital parts of the story all through, and leaving us to a lot of guesses. Then also in terms of character development and characterization, we've had our assertions, and we gave it a very high grade for the key actors, especially for being able to, perceive and interpret the roles the director intended for them. However, one of our noble panelists said she didn't like the towards the end part, which would have been a direction issue. And also we talked about direction holistically, where we had a lot of affirmations and good lines. Noreen also gave kudos to their cinematography, and all the good, beautiful shots. It's a whole lot of work. There is something we've not talked about, which is sound and music. I would leave that to the last question, and before we begin to take our final words. In terms of production design, in terms of acting performance, themes and messages, in terms of general expectation, we've been able to put all this together. We've put ourselves and in the middle of it, and we've shared our different perspective. And even just within us here, we had diverse opinion. And Noreen was like, she would have wanted Alex to eventually repent and have a safe landing of the story. But for Queen, she said she would have preferred her to be, the bad girl. She is all through the story. And that is the power of personal impact in storytelling. So let's begin to round off. I'll give all of us one minute now to round off. In terms of sound and scoring, how would you rate that? Because that's a very, very critical part of a movie, which has to do with the way you hear the audio and the sound soundtracks, sound scoring that we used to pass the mood in line with the story. So let's start with Queen again, and Queen, once you add that, you can always say your final words on this edition. Then we go that way, and we're going to be back to say goodbye. Let's start with Queen.
So for music, the sound and scoring, the music, I'll give it a 9 over 10. As much as I said that the director and Pastor Taribo were not able to get pathos from me, and a lot of audience who are like me, there was a part of the music which would have gotten me. At that point, I started feeling sympathetic of Pastor Taribo. So I would give them a 9/10. It was clear, it wasn't squeaky. I had a problem where I think the too much birds were making noise. I started wondering what time of the day is it. I wasn't sure what time of the day it is. I know, so that's why I'm leaving it at a 9/10. And then general message. The movie is beautiful. I love the movie. I love the suspense. It kept me through. Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, let's have Noreen have a take. And Noreen, on your final words from the rating of the sound, what do you have to say before we leave on this edition?
The quality of sound was, I would give it 9/10. Music, to be honest, there was nothing that I heard that was captivating, that tapped into my emotions, or like that was memorable. So as for music, I think I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And to generalize the movie as a whole, 9.5 out of 10. I think they delivered. I believe that the message that they wanted the audience to take from it was delivered and executed properly. And and what I took from it is just, it's not, the spiritual and the physical go hand in hand. We can't be too overly spiritual and neglect the physical things. There's also physical things that we need to do to also support with whatever issues that we have, because I find that we tend to be overly spiritual and everything is just prayer, prayer, prayer. But it's prayer with work that goes hand in hand to produce great results.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Noreen. And Dr. Akode, your final words here. Let's have what your opinions are holistically, and we'll begin to wrap off.
Okay, I could rate that as the lightning is okay, it's good, and likewise me like Noreen just said, the music, I don't even like it at all. I don't know. I give him a low mark for the music. It's not like 5/10. Lightning is okay, 9/10, and the general view of the movie is okay. Yeah, for the delivery, that what you want to know what's happening in society, and what society has to be corrected about this idea of you can't walk with God holding hand with the devil. If you see a devil that comes to a church, immediately you notice that you have to suspend. You have to suspend or just chase the person away, because the devil will already be remain devil. The devil cannot change. Somebody that has been doing that kind for many years cannot change. And not on a lighter note, marriage is something that is very important. In fact, the family create the whole the society. What's happening in the society now, it comes from the family. Family is to be taken care. So it's God established marriage for the welfare and happiness of womankind. That's why he bring Adam and Eve together to rather see that it's like unity to become ready. And marriage is a God's idea. And it's also a human institution, which have to be cherished, have to be protected, and have to do a lot of things that will improve it. Because of all what is happening in society now, it comes from marriage. People that are going to lead us, they are coming from the product of the marriage. Everything that happens is product of marriage. So the film, generally, I like the film so much. It's okay. It's a kind of satire that shows reflection of the society. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And destination point is here. This is how far we'll be able to go on this wonderful edition. I want to take our time to specially thank Timilola Oladejo Adidire for numerous comments about the movie. Thank you so much. And special thanks to Queen V. Thank you so much for your time. To Noreen, it's such an amazing opportunity having you on this program. And to Dr. Akonde, I say thank you so much for your time and valuable contributions. My name is Akim Ogumilade, and at the same time, next month, we look forward to bringing to you another wonderful edition of the Real Talk Show. But in the meantime, do not forget to like, share, and pass your comments about our reviews. And we will always be here to do justice to it. Thank you so much, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.